Welcome back, my peeps. Are you guys ready to start on the next project? Because I know I sure am. Redoing all that paneling with the tracing, cutouts, and the moving of the straight edge to make each and every single cut is just freaking time consuming. And I'm telling you, when you're doing it for the second and or third time, it kind of loses its punch at being fun. So the last time you saw Romer, it looked just like this right here. But now, I am super impressed. I'm so glad I decided to go with the cabinets on here because it's going to be so much more of a usable space. But you'll notice something. When I show you this and I scroll down, what? It's still not finished yet. And that's because I had to do a bit of an RCA to find out what actually happened to our wood and why it bubbled the way it did. RCA, root cause analysis, if you don't know. So before putting the last piece back together, I needed to know for sure that it was the water that caused that damage. This was unacceptable. I did my research. This was supposed to be moisture resistant. That was not supposed to happen. So I ended up calling the manufacturer, Tefisa, and told them about the problem we've had. I said, look, I was walking in and out of here with snowy boots. It got wet, and next thing I knew, this particle board was all swollen. And they swore to me their product with a little bit of water like that would never cause that problem. They put a lacquer on their particle board in between the two laminate sheets that makes it so that it's water resistant. They said this will not happen. You must have had a chemical or something like that that got in there and created it to crack and break apart. But in my world, I've been messed with way too many times. If it walks on two legs and speaks, I probably don't trust it very much. But on my channel, I want you guys to be able to trust me that whether it's good or bad, my fault or somebody else's, I'm gonna tell you guys the truth, no matter what. That's how I'm bringing value on our van build. Because it definitely ain't how fast can you build a van. We all know that. So I started doing my own testing. I cut off a piece of our laminate so I could use it as a sample piece, grabbed a bowl of water, and stuck this thing in there right inside, drowned it for over 30 hours. And when I pulled it back out, it looks exactly the same. No swelling, no cracking, no nothing. It definitely was not the water. But as I was templating this last part right here with our corrugated plastic again, getting it ready to put our laminate board in, I was doing this side over here and noticed where our fan is, there was a little bit of moisture coming out of this corner right here of the fan. It's dry now because I've since fixed the problem, but what it was antifreeze. We had a bit of a leak from our coolant loop system in our heater. So the first thing I did is I went and dumped that water out, filled that bowl with some coolant, and stuck our little sample piece into there. And guess what happened to that sample piece within less than an hour of having it in there? Let me show you. So if we take this piece out of our coolant and set it beside a piece that hasn't been touched, and look how much that has swollen. And you'll also see it's become very, very brittle. I can pull it apart with my fingers, and that's what happened. It was antifreeze, not water. Now this is a good thing. Obviously it's good that I fixed the problem now before we were finished the van, so I'm glad I ran the heater during the winter months so we were able to find that leak. It's also good because of the fact that we know it wasn't the water. The research I did about this being water resistant is true. This stuff can soak in water and nothing happened to it at all. So we can go for minus 30 in the mountains skiing one day and drive down 12 hours to California in the humid by the ocean and have huge temperature swings and humidity and know we're not going to have a problem. Our research was correct, and I was just able to share with you right in front of your eyes exactly that. You can trust it's water resistant, not coolant resistant. But let's show you what happened here. So what was going on here was at our fan, these hoses on the back side were leaking a little bit. Now it was such a small leak that you couldn't even tell. It was so slow. But when we had that heater running for hours and hours and hours during the winter time, it slowly leaked through, came out, and hit our board at the front, which caused it to run all the way down through all that wood and make it start swelling. That's our problem. But now I've had it running for a while and I'm feeling very confident that there's no more leak. Everything is bone dry and it's hot to the touch and it's keeping all the fluid in. which means I think we're ready to move forward. So we'll add our adhesive to the back side of our board. And then we'll slide it in place. And yes, I did seal all the edges with our melamine paint. And once it's all in place, we let it dry for 24 hours. And here we go. It's another beautiful day outside. The furnace has been running. Everything's put back in place. Let's find out if it worked. Whew. So the first thing, it's definitely warm inside here. So the furnace is working perfectly. Now let's make sure it's dry. Take a look. Whew, the hoses are all hot. It's hard to see, but oh, even all that wood dried out. We have no moisture at all. And what I've noticed about these is it was all my fault. So I think I have one picture that I can share right here, but on the ends of those inlet and outlet of the fan, furnace fan, there was these foam little rings that were on there, and I figured I pushed my hose up against them and it was like a barrier between the fan and the hose with the heat. But this is what was causing the leak, because when you push it up against there, this was absorbing coolant, and that's what was slowly coming out of there and making its way to the edge of our wood and then swelling it, of course. But now this has been running for days. It's completely dry and we're ready to finally move to the next project and get this frickin' van finished, because this guy needs to go camping. But if we come to the side door here and open it up, look how good it all looks now. It looks brand new. We got all our trim back under our shower door, and we were able to reuse all that trim. We didn't have to cut any new stuff. We got 2 new shelves, a drawer, and a cupboard, which I'm super happy with. This actually worked out to be a huge positive in having to redo all this. And our seams all came out nice and super clean. You can hardly tell that they're even there. And honestly, once we put drawers on and our trim on for all that stuff, you won't even know this ever happened. And although this threw us behind like 3-4 weeks from where we should have been right now, it's actually a huge perk that it happened now and we got it fixed before the van was actually finished and we decided to run that heater and had this problem. Sometimes things just happen for a reason. Oh, and real quick, I should share with you, because I spoke about it in the last 2 videos, at the base of this that we learned. Now, although we learned that water was not the cause of this, what I've done is I've put a 1/4 inch gap along the whole bottom, just like you would do on the drywall inside your house. And this is so that if there is any moisture, it just gives a gap so the water can go underneath everything and not actually touch the wood board itself. Again, we've already learned that water will not hurt this stuff, but better safe than sorry. And this is where the video is going to end, my peeps. Hopefully it brought value. It shows you that the research we did on this wood is good for humidity and moisture. So all those comments below that I haven't had a chance to respond down to, consider this a response. It works, it's not water. So if you haven't subscribed yet, maybe consider doing so. No pressure, of course, you do you. If you have subscribed, thank you, thank you, thank you. Maybe consider hitting that like button, even leaving us a comment down below. It seriously helps our videos. I can use your help to keep this thing going. With that being said, I will see you on the next video. Perfect.